Hello everybody, welcome to the Typical Manga Review. This is Zeidoktor, and this episode is going to be dedicated to My Hero Academia, Chapter 145, Red Riot 2. We kind of see where we picked up where we left off with Kirishima crossing UA out of his high school application forms. Like, forget about being a hero. I ain't even really a man. All I did was put on an act. I was just going through the motions. But when the chips are down and the time comes to lay down my life, that's when your true colors surface. People who can take even just a single step forward when faced with their own mortality are the ones who can be called heroes. And he's and this like Kirishima just kind of looked at his stuff, like his books. Not sure if there's anything here specifically, but we do see a little flashback here of like Kirishima as a kid, like scratching his eye. Like according to Mom, the first time my quirk manifested, I inadvertently cut my eye. And afterwards, I was sobbing that I hated my quirk for a while. It wasn't a huge deal or anything, but now that I look back, that might have been the start of it all. My admiration for the hero with a quirk similar to my own, a hero puffed with pride, one to put his life on the line. Kirishima holds up a hero book, but in his frustration, like throws against his bookshelf. And an object drops down and it shows a little hologram of Crimson Riot, like, that ain't it at all! And that surprises him, like, he sees the thing, like he remembers he had his folks buy it for him for his birthday some years back. The companion media to a book of outstanding heroes. You think was this thing how I first came to know him again? And it was apparently during an interview here. It's like, I'm terribly sorry, right? So if you'd allow me to ask you a few questions, all right, lay them on me. In comparison to other heroes, your image as a reckless hero who rushes headlong is quite prominent. May I ask, do you feel no fear over throwing yourself into harm's way? Just what do you think I am? Of course I feel fear. Anybody who rushes into the jaws of death without feeling any fear is either a complete dumbass or a beep. Back when I was a sidekick, there are times when I wasn't able to save some people's lives. I know, it can't be helped. Crime rates are on the rise now, so there's... I know, it can't be helped. Crime rates are on the rise now, so that ain't what I'm saying. And as he's going on, Kirishima was like, I was still in elementary school when he said all that. His words were still too difficult for me to grasp back then. They didn't sink in. I'm saying that I hesitated for a second because your heart was weak. Because your heart was weak, you couldn't save him. Villains and death itself are both terrifying. It's just that I know that there's something even scarier than death. And during all this, like the sight of him charging in with all of his might just struck me as being super cool. The final, like he said, villains and death itself are both terrifying, but it's just that I know that there's something even scarier than death. The final expression on the faces of the dead, and the torment of failing to save them. It's because I have experienced them that I charge into the fray. What exactly does a manly spirit mean? What exactly does a manly spirit mean to you? It's the attitude you carry with you in your soul. And I may say manly, but that goes the same for any gender. And it don't mean being confident either, or not knowing fear. I say people because I'm a hero. Once you make that decision in your heart, and you stake your life on it. A manly heart, to me, is a life led without regret. We see Kirishima, just like he's actually crying, he's actually making a big enough deal to him, and we see the next day that he actually has made UA Academy his first choice. Like, whoa, like for real, eh? Dude. Like, I won't repeat the same mistake. And he goes to the girls from the incident he witnessed the other day. He's like, I'm sorry. Back then I saw that you two were in trouble, but I was too scared to act. Who are you again? You're in class 1, right? It's totally fine. Nobody, normally anybody be afraid. Mina's just amazing, that's all. We see Asido kind of noticing this. We see everybody kind of like doing their training. Like we see Kirishima studying and practicing. We see the same thing from Asido. I don't know if that's heard like during the exam. Possibly heard during the practical form as well. We see him like we see Kirishima fighting the robots. We see him getting his acceptance from Nezu. And then, just as they're actually entering UA, Mina's looking at him shocked, like, whoa, what'd you do to your head? Is this your debut for high school? You got horns now! We're horn buddies now! Damn straight. Don't touch them though, you'll mess them up. I'll never regret my inaction ever again. I'm going to be a hero who can protect people. saying sayonara to my old pathetic self. Mina looks at him critically. Kirishima, you were really beating yourself over that whole thing, huh? That bad? Of course, Nancy starts smacking him with it. It's like, don't overload yourself with pressure. Hey, this doesn't hurt, but what the hell? I'm gonna say sayonara when you're still pulling that gloomy face. When you've actually overcome yourself deep down, come and tell me, okay? I'll go spread rumors of the Mr. High School debut all over the place. I'm looking forward to it. And now in the present, like even now, there hasn't been exactly a shortage of frightening thoughts running through my mind. But the number one thing I was always afraid of, surpassing any of those fears, is reverting back into what I was like back then. I never want to feel that regret again. I'm going to be a hero who can protect people. And then we see Fitgum, holding Kirishima and Red Riot in one arm and Fist in the other. There's just one reason you're gonna lose, because you underestimated him. I did too, but so did you. Barry, your maximum size and strength, no point. Rappa's like, it'll just break. Get a taste of the manly heart of the hero named Red Riot. And he just smashes through the barrier and sends Rappa and Tengai just flying through the sky. And that is where the chapter ends. That's where the main chapter ends. There's like a little omake thing, which I think came from an earlier bit, because I remember seeing it a long time back. But it's basically Bakugo like being all pissed with Uraraka confronting him. And it's like, like someone talks to him like, what kind of stupid ass bullshit do you think you were doing, fuck sick? Like, if you want Deku, he's in the bathroom. What are you doing here? And basically Uraraka kind of like calling him out on how he treats Deku. Like, can't you just make nice with him already? Me? Make nice with him? I guess we're gonna go smoothly now. You were cool when we fought, but when you're always like that with Deku. It's almost like you're scared, so you want to distance him. I mean, so you act all menacing like that. I mean, you were childhood friends, and now you're in the same class. So I want you to stop yelling at each other and be friends again. The fuck you saying to me? Ah! Like, Deku's like, what's going on? What are you two yelling about? It's like, at this point, like Midnight jumps in, like screams at them, like, take your seats. It's time for modern hero art history. Meanwhile, she's giving her a lecture. Like she's like, Uraraka's just like brooding. Deku's focusing on the work. Bakugo is raging, like, and so young Bakugo's wrath diffused across two directions. And in the end, he calmed down, a smidge. Uraraka, that fuck stick, and to popularize crossing versatility. Bakugo, it was clown shock, correct. I just wanted to include that because I find it funny how like he's raging, but he still manages to answer these things correctly. Anyway, I really like this chapter. First of all, just kind of going back from this, working from the backwards from the end. I think Fatgum is exactly the mentor Kirishima needs, because he seems to get the idea behind like what Crimson Riot was about, even whether he knows him or not. So he's like he can help Kirishima like build that up. At the same time, I do wonder if he did have a connection to Crimson Riot. Like either they were contemporaries, or maybe he was Crimson Riot's sidekick or something like that, or he admired Crimson Riot the way Red Kirishima does. Because I don't know, it just seems like it seems kind of just too well in line to me. So, and I mean, if so, I could even see him like making that as a reason to take Kirishima under his wing because of the name. Because Kirishima deliberately chose his hero name based on that particular guy. So it's hardly a shock to think that that's what's going on here. I also do like the fact that whole big speech that Kirishima had a recording of, like, one, it gives a whole manly spirit thing, but a gender neutral manly spirit, which is nice. Like I say manly, but it doesn't really matter there. And then, building from that, we've also got, how do I put it there? How do I put it? Like, it's kind of like with Deku and All Might. Like, Deku admires All Might so much, but, so it's like, it tends to come as a shock that he's still a guy, like just a person. And Kirishima kind of got that from here as well. Like he kind of performs the same role here. Like his willingness to like he's admitting that yeah he's afraid. Like he's not like perpetually brave. He's actually like genuinely afraid. Honestly, it puts me in mind of Simone and Kamina from Gurren Lagann. Except in this case, they don't actually know each other. But if it's familiar, but for those unfamiliar, basically the premise is the whole thing is like Kamina acts a lot like Crimson Riot does here, and Simone is his unconfident little like adopted little brother. And Simone draws all of his inspiration and worth from Kamina, but as we learn towards the after Kamina, after about the quarter point of the series roughly, Kamina took his inspiration from Simone. Like he talked a big game, but he was usually terrified of stuff at the time. But it was Simone who could just keep steadying and steadily going on through no matter the adversity and coming through. So it just kind of puts me in mind with that. Like if they had been together, if Kirishima were Crimson Riot's sidekick, I could see that kind of dynamic between them. I also like again like how Asido is sort of like the Bakugo to his Deku, just not an asshole. Because Asido's a nice girl, you gotta like her. I mean, the way she's resolving into with breakdancing made me wonder if calling herself Pinky didn't derive itself from a famous Western series the same as Alien Queen did. But nope. Either way, we have I was like at the end Fat Gum's part, like where he calls him the hero Red Riot, and just shouts it out there like this kid has proven himself a hero in Fat Gum's eyes, and there is no taking that away. So whatever else happens here from this day forward, Kirishima has definitely earned his spot as a worthy to the name of hero. Also, I just realized this also gives the idea of how Kirishima got that scar over his eye, which is actually a pretty distinctive trait of his. He actually did it to himself accidentally as a little kid. You know, it's funny. I thought before, like what their things might have been like when their quirks first manifested, because they would have been like 3-4 years old at the time. Like for example, just imagine little baby Uraraka playing patty cake. Like, patty cake. Where are you going? They got to come up a few of those at one point, like Todoroki's classmates snuggling up to one side or the other based on the temperature out, based on how hot or cold it was. I don't know, just silly. I thought of it as silly little things, but I can see where Kirishima's case was actually like deliberately like something like serious and left him angsty for a while. Let's see here. What else is there? Anything I guess to really get into? Oh, also Horn Buddies. That's a new ship launching, the SS Horn Buddies. Kirishima and Asido. I mean, if nobody was shipping them already, I'm sure they sure as hell are by now. So there's not a doubt in my mind about that. Because that's how shipping works, basically. If they have had any form of contact, they are a potential couple. If they have not had any form of contact, they are a potential couple. If they live on completely different planes of existence, iffy, but they are a potential couple. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the review at this point. Again, that has been My Hero Academia, chapter 145, Red Riot 2. Until next week, I'll see you later, and bye-bye.